It's Belinda with Blue Ribbon Designs. I'm back today for my 5th floss tube video. It is Saturday, April 24th. I'm getting ready to take a vacation in a few days. So I wanted to check in quickly. I've got a few things to share, a couple new quilt pattern designs, update on some cross stitch pieces. I have the winner for my giveaway. I have a tip that will be great, can be used in cross stitch, wool work, quilting, a fun little tip for cutting out shapes. I have some new fabric to show you, lots of fun stuff. So we'll go ahead and jump right into it. First of all, I released 2 new quilt patterns today in my Etsy shop. They are digital download patterns. They are for the most recent Poppy Cotton collection called Paisley Rose that is out this month. If you follow my blog or you visited last time, you saw I was going to be doing some pieces with this new fabric collection, and I posted on their blog tour last week. And I did a table runner, a tea cozy, some towels, a couple cute little mug rugs. And I didn't do patterns right away. I wanted to see if there was some interest, but we had a lot of interest. And so I have 2 new patterns. I kind of combined the pieces together to make 2 different patterns. So we'll start with those. First up is my table runner. This is called Tulip Table Runner. I don't know if you can see all of it, part of it, some of it in the video. I'll put a little inlay up on the screen. But this is traditional piecing. It's straight 4-patch blocks, and then tulips are just fusible applique stitched on with a blanket stitch, some sashing and borders, and binding. Pretty good project for a new quilter, especially someone that wants to try a little bit with fusible applique. And we'll talk a little bit about that shortly, my little trick for quickly cutting the pieces. So this is the Tulip Table Runner. It measures about 33.5 by 12.5, but you could definitely make it longer by adding onto the ends, making additional blocks. You could make it wider. It just depends how many blocks you would want to make. You could do 6 blocks, 2 rows of 3, or you could do 5 blocks long and adjust the size. And coming out with that in the same pattern are my Alphabet House mug rugs. And these are cute little rugs to put your teacup, your coffee cup, your treats on. I used an alphabet fabric for the house, which is how I got the name. These are all part of the Paisley Rose collection, but you can adapt these patterns easily to whatever you have on hand, your favorite collection, scraps. These are, I believe, 9.5 by 6.5 inches. Fusible applique again. The house design was kind of taken from one of the motifs in this fabric collection. I kind of adapted it. But for mine, I did a little 3D embellishing. So we have mini rickrack on the roof, 3 little rows. And then I used a little 1/4-inch button for the doorknob on each one of them. So the pattern for the table runner and these 2 mug rugs are all in one pattern. There's templates for all of the pieces that you need to cut out. There's really good instructions. A beginner could do these, and it's really good if you're wanting to just dabble in applique a little bit. Also, this I want to do in wool so bad. Wouldn't this be the cutest little wool work little piece, and just hand blanket stitch each of the pieces on? I think it would be so cute for, I don't know, like a little candle mat size. So that is one pattern that came out today, and that's Tulip Table Runner and Alphabet House mug rugs. And the second pattern that came out today, because it doesn't have the applique, I decided to split these up, is my Cloud 9 teapot cozy. I should have had my teapot here. I don't. This is simple patchwork on the front. It gives you a chance to either use scraps or mini charm packs, little squares of fabric. They're 2.5-inch squares, 2-inch finished. Pretty simple traditional piecing. The back is all one focal fabric. So you can do these pretty quickly. It doesn't take too long to piece all of these. My teacup was an 8-cup large teapot. It's a big teapot. So the template that comes with the pattern is for a large teapot. If you have a smaller teapot, obviously it's going to cover it. But if you want to make this smaller or larger for that fact, I give you very good instructions on how to measure your teapot and decide how big your template should be. I know they come in all shapes and sizes, and Tea Cozy's, it really can go anywhere from a little tiny 2-cup pot to the 8-cup pot like I used. So if you are concerned that if you purchase the pattern, you won't be able to make it for the right size, there are very good directions in there on how to draw your own template or adjust the one that I have included with the pattern. It is also written in a way that you can use any fabric collection. You can use scraps. If you have a whole bunch of scraps in your bins and you want to cut a bunch of 2.5-inch squares, you could easily put this together. The little tab that is used for lifting the cozy off and on is just made from twill tape. I just used hand-dyed twill tape. This is a color from Lady Dot Creates, but you could use a natural, or twill tape's easy to find. So this is just a piece of twill tape folded in half, and then when I put it together, the raw edges are inside, sewn inside, so you cannot see them. I also give you instructions if you want to do binding around the bottom, but you don't have to. The way this is put together, there are no raw seams on the inside, and the outside is fully finished. Without the binding, you could just do a top stitch all the way around and it would look just as good. I wanted to give it just a little bit more pop of color, especially on the back. So I went ahead and put an extra strip of binding around the bottom. That is totally optional, and the directions tell you how to do either way, what the measurements are. With this, I also added the sewing instructions for doing my tender-hearted tea towels. And these are just standard tea towels that I purchased at a quilt shop. They could be solid colors, they could be toweling, striped, they could be a lot of different ways. These came from my local quilt shop and they matched the colors well. So the directions will tell you how to do it for any size towel. It just gives you instructions and tells you how to figure the measurements for this fabric strip. These are 20 inches in width, and most of them are pretty close to that. So I gave you what I used in the instructions and then tell you how to figure out other dimensions should your towel be wider or skinnier. I added rickrack across either side of the fabric inset, and that's optional. I think it gives it a fun little adds character to it. The rickrack, after I created my fabric strip and got the raw edges taken care of, I actually attached the rickrack to the back of that strip with what is called Wonder Tape. It's made by Dritz. It is a double-sided 1/4-inch tape that washes away. So when you wash this project, that will wash out. But it's sticky on both sides, so you can stick it to the back of your fabric. It almost looks like a fusible web. And then you can stick your rickrack and it will hold it in place while you're sewing it. Then when you wash your towel, that will wash out. You can also pin the rickrack in place. You could use a spray adhesive. You could use the magnetic pins. There's different things you can use to hold it in place. But I've talked about in the instructions that I have found the easiest thing to use is Dritz Wash Away Wonder Tape. And I'll put a link to that in my Etsy or in my Amazon shop as well if you're interested in learning a little bit more about it. I use the actual stuff from Dritz, and then there is one on Amazon that is generic that works just as good. I can't tell any difference, and it's quite a bit cheaper. So I'll put links to those down below for you. I did 2 different towels, but obviously the instructions are the same for both. These are the tender-hearted tea towels, and they come in the pattern with the Cloud9 Tea Cozy. They're both together in one pattern. So there are 2 different patterns coming out today. One with the table topper and the mug rugs, and one with the Tea Cozy and the towels. And you can set either one of those to any fabric collection you want. It's pretty easy to adjust them. It'll just tell you like you need 40 2.5-inch squares. And then you can pick those yourself. You don't have to use this fabric collection, although it's really stinking adorable. And it's out now. So we have those. And I want to talk a little bit, this is my tip, my special tip for cutting things. And this can be for cross stitch. Let's say you are finishing a berry and the designer has given you a template for the leaves or the whole of the berry, and you want to cut it exactly like the designer cut it. And sometimes that's kind of hard. You're cutting out a piece of paper and you're trying to hold it up to or pin it onto your wool or your fabric to cut it out. This tip also works for wool applique. If you are doing wool applique and you're cutting just a bunch of little pieces to applique a little chicken on a piece or a snowman, and you have the hat and the eyes and the nose and you have to cut all these pieces, this is a tip to cut those easily. It also is how I cut all the pieces for my mug rugs and my tabletop. So my trick is freezer paper. And I know you can get freezer paper in the grocery store, and I have that too, big rolls of it. But you can also get freezer paper cut in the shape of printer paper. So 8.5 by 11 sheets of freezer paper. I love this stuff. It's another thing I buy on Amazon, and it is in my shop. It'll be linked down below so you can check it out for yourself. Each sheet is just like regular wax paper. It has the shiny waxy side and a paper, just a regular paper you can write on its side. I like to print my templates. Let's give you an example. This is a template that comes with the little mug rug that will be in the pattern. I like to print these from the PDF onto wax paper. Obviously your print you want on the paper side, and then you're going to be putting the waxy side against your fabric. So once I have templates, whatever they are, could be this one, printed on wax paper, I roughly cut them out. So I cut them in smaller pieces because you don't want to waste a whole bunch of fabric. And like I said, you could do this with pieces for cross stitch finishing. You can do this for wool applique, but I cut the pieces out roughly. And then I actually put the wax side down on my fabric and I will press it. And the wax kind of holds it in place. So for these, I fused interfacing to the back of the fabrics I wanted to use so I could later on attach them to my base. And then to cut the shapes out after the interfacing or after the fusible web was ironed on, I ironed on to the top of the fabric my little pieces. And then I cut on the line. So I cut my shape exactly. I just cut it right on the line. And then this little wax paper piece, it easily peels right off. And most times you can use it again. So if you needed to make 4 stems, you could do 1, move it, iron it again in place, do it again. It doesn't leave any residue. And it's super simple for cutting out all those crazy shapes. If you guys want to see a tutorial on this, if I didn't explain it well enough, drop me a comment and I'll see if I can find time to film a little video on how I actually do it, and we'll do all the steps. But pretty much you just rough cut out your templates after you print them on the freezer paper, and then you iron with the waxy side down, paper side up where you can see it. You iron that on, it sticks to it. You cut directly on the line then to cut out your shape, and then the piece just picks up and doesn't leave any residue. It just peels right off, and you can use it multiple times. So it's my fun trick for all those finishing ideas for cross stitch, for wool applique, for pieces for fusible applique. It works out really well, especially when you already have the fusible web on the back of these pieces and you cut them out, then you can just pull the paper off your fusible web and fuse them right down. So I hope that gives you a little tip for today that will help you with cross stitch and or quilting or sewing. Next up, I guess we'll do I had a little giveaway opportunity in my last video, and I have randomly chosen a winner. I let the computer do it, and I'll put a little picture up on the screen, but it is Angelia L. and she left me a lovely comment and mentioned needle in it. I think we had 77 people that mentioned needle in their comment. And she left a lovely comment. She follows along. I'm thrilled to send you out my latest Under My Wing pincushion pattern and vintage zinc ball jar lid from my collection. Shoot me an email or contact me in direct message on social media with your address, and I'll get it sent out to you. If I don't hear from you right away, we'll be on vacation, but as soon as I'm back from vacation, I'll ship it out to you. I hope you're excited about it. That piece is one of my favorites, and I'm excited to have someone else that will be working on it. The other thing is, if you are stitching any blue ribbon design right now, new or old, any of my blue ribbon designs, if you're working on any of them, including probably the sewing patterns, if you wanted to go along, it's mostly cross stitch, but if you are doing that on Instagram, hashtag your piece BRD Tax Day SAL, and this is a stitch along that Lori from Mischievous Stitches and Mary Stitcher 211 on Instagram, they started just between the two of themselves to stitch along together on a blue ribbon design. And Lori mentioned it on her really cool floss tube and got more people involved. And now I'm seeing all sorts of different ones pop up. It's really fun. There's people doing Halloween pieces, Redwork Garden, Alphabet Zoo Lori's doing. There's a little Quakeresque. Lots of fun pieces people are stitching on. But if you're doing that, make sure you go out and use the hashtag. And I go out there every couple days and look to see what everyone's working on. I am going to randomly draw a person that has hashtagged it that's working on a project when I get back from my trip, and I'm going to send you a little goodie, maybe a stitch starter ruler, maybe include something else fun. But I'll do a few of those periodically as everyone's stitching on blue ribbon designs, but I'm definitely going to do one in about a week and a half. So if you are working on a blue ribbon design, make sure you hashtag the hashtag below on your Instagram pictures, and you might be just chosen out of the clear blue to win something. And I'll direct message that person on Instagram and let them know, and we'll make a little announcement in the next video. So those are coming up. Next thing, cross-stitch designs. Oh, I really wanted to have my next couple cross-stitch designs out before I left, but there was just no way. I had a ton of finishing I got done this week, and then with the new quilting patterns, I just couldn't get everything finished up. The Pink Positive design, which is this cross-stitch piece, it's a quilted hanging again, but could be framed. It's my signature style. You can take little pieces out of and stitch for small projects, like this little pin keep that will be included. This pattern is done and it's ready to be proofed. Shout out to my proofer Terry, who proofed my quilt patterns for me and will be proofing this for me as well. This one is done and ready to be proofed. This one, which is Sunlight Seeds and Scents, I am still working on the needlework smalls that are going to be accompanying it. I'm going to take them in the car with me on my vacation. I don't know if I'll touch them or not, but I'm going to try and finish up the little smalls that go along with this and finish up that pattern within the next few weeks, and we'll get these listed. They'll be out there for sale for everybody. I've had some really good feedback on it, so I'm excited. There is one other small piece I'm working on. I have the design done, but they are not stitched yet, but it's along the lines of the Under My Wing pin keep. It's about the same size, but different type of design and different type of finishing. And I would like to release those with these two and do all three at once, but that might put these back another week or so, just trying to get everything completed. But I'm hoping before the end of May, I will have all three of the cross-stitch patterns ready for release. So look for those and I'll keep you updated. I'm sorry I'm a little bit behind. There's just a lot of things going on in here right now. I'm trying to take care of customer orders, which has been a lot lately, and then the quilting patterns and the cross-stitch all at once, and get ready for a vacation. So I hope that I will have at least 2, if not 3, new pieces of cross-stitch released by the end of May. So you can look out for those and I'll keep you updated here. Okay, So then I will also be working on more designs for Poppy Cotton. They have another set of fabrics coming out in May. The new collection is called Farm Girls Unite. It's so me. I am not quite sure. I'm going to be doing a quilt. I don't know if it will be a wall hanging or a lap quilt. I have the preliminary design done for it. I will be doing a quilt, and I'd like to do a pillow or two that go along with it. I just have some fun ideas in my head, but I wanted to quickly show you guys a little peek of this fabric line. So it's pretty cool. So since it's Farm Girls Unite, we've got all sorts of gardening tools and animal cows and vegetables, different things. That comes in the darker blue. There's a pink and there's a white. There's some beautiful florals with this. And they come in the same colorways. This one, it comes on a yellow, which I love, and a red. There's a really cute daisy that comes in like a multicolor too, which is really sweet. Pink and blue. This is, to me, this one is like a bandana almost. Yellow, blue, and red. Some smaller flowers. These look really vintage to me. Just lots of cute little floral accents to go with it. Some daisies, which just stand out. And to go with the first focal fabric that I love, there are also another thing of my favorite, strawberries. So there's this gingham checkered strawberry fabric, and then just one more fun little print motif to go with. So those are the ones I'm going to be designing with for next month. I know I'll have some sort of a quilt, and I'm hoping for a couple pillows, but as you know, I'm an overachiever and I have a lot of things happening at once, so hopefully that's what the plan ends up being. But for right now, that is the plan. And then finally, yesterday I was in our small town of Spring Hill, and I had an appointment, and I went into the quilt shop there, the Quilted Sunflower that I love. If you read my blog, or if you haven't yet, go check it out. I did a post all about my local quilt shop and how awesome they are and all the things that they do. And I couldn't be happier to have such a great shop in a little small town. So yesterday, after my appointment, I had to stop in. I hadn't been in a few weeks. And surprise of all surprises, one of my very, very dear friends, Robin, had called the shop and then had emailed them and ordered me a gift certificate and had her hold on to it for me. I didn't know anything about it. And I showed up yesterday and Leslie had this gift certificate for me. And I picked up some fabrics and I picked up a new pair of shears. And I had a list of things. So not only did the gift certificate help, but it was just a complete day brightener. It was totally unexpected. And the last few weeks have been really challenging for me, to say the least. And there's been a lot of things personal going on, not professional is great. I just focus on all of the things I'm showing you today. But I had some personal stuff going on that was really hard to deal with. I've never had to deal with a bully before. And at my age, I never thought I would, but it's just been a difficult situation. So to walk into the quilt shop after feeling so alone and missing my Iowa people and my friends in my home in Iowa, to walk into the quilt shop down here and just have this gift certificate waiting with a big smiley face on it, it made my day. So shout out to Robin. Thank you so much. I'll show you what I picked up there real quickly. I've showed you these scissors before, these Tim Holtz scissors. I have them in 5-inch and 7-inch smaller ones, and I use them every single day, but I did not have the shears. So I picked up a pair yesterday and they cut so good. These scissors are the best inexpensive, great cutting scissors I think I've ever used. I love the big handles, and that's the same on the little ones too. They have larger handles. They do come in left-handed as well, and I'm left-handed, but I use the right-handed scissors. They have a slight serrated edge, so they just cut through everything really smoothly. I've showed the other ones before. I do have them linked in my Etsy shop or in my Amazon shop, but I finally got the big shears, and I cannot wait to cut something huge out so that I can use them. I'm excited about those. And then I just got some fabrics, my favorite being this vintage strawberries. There's something about the colors with the green, and the leaves are like a light blue, and it's just a very vintagey looking. I bought a yard of it. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do with it. I've been admiring it for a while. I've been trying really hard not to buy any fabric because obviously, and I don't know, this fabric spoke to me, so I picked it up, and we'll see if I might do myself a project bag, or we'll do something fun with it, and then I'll show it at a later date. And then I had picked up a panel of red, white, and blue fabric, a specialty panel a few weeks ago to make something for a friend for her birthday. And I decided I needed some coordinates to go with that. So I picked up a blue and a red, almost like a daisy print, but they'll go well with what I'm working on as a gift. I thought those were really cute. Especially those, I don't know, the blue little daisies are adorable. And then this is just cotton fabric, but it looks like patchwork. And she had a whole line of it. But something about this fabric spoke to me a while ago too, and I just thought I needed it. It would make really cool bags because of the patchwork look, and I could quilt the front of them a little bit. I'm not quite sure. It would make a neat tote bag. I'm going to use it for something special, but I added that yesterday. So that was my fun little trip to the quilt shop. I also got some needles and a new needle threader to try. If I have success with it, I'll show that on the later video. So that's everything going on before we leave for vacation. I'm going to try and get this edited and posted right away before we go. But know that next week I will be out of my office, and I will probably not have very much communication with the outside world. I plan on doing a little radio silence. So I haven't decided yet. I can put my website and my Etsy shop in catalog mode. Or at least my website would be in catalog mode, which means you can view everything on the website, but you just can't purchase anything while we're gone, and then I'll have to turn it back on when we get back. And same with Etsy. I can put my shop on vacation, and then it'll notify you when I'm back. However, on my Etsy shop, I might just put an announcement that I'm out of town, and then leave up at least the downloadable files and turn everything else off that needs to be shipped. I haven't quite decided yet. Every time I think I'm just going to leave them both up and go on a trip, that's when all of a sudden all the messages come in and orders come in that I'm not home to ship, and I feel really bad because I try and ship like the same day or within 24 hours. So I'm not quite sure how I'm going to work all that yet, but I just need a break. It's a good time to go hang out in the mountains, get some fresh air, kind of forget about the negativity that has been going on in my personal life lately, and spend some time with my husband. Which reminds me, questions from my last video. I had multiple people ask me what my husband got me for our anniversary, because I had posted a few videos back that it was our 21st wedding anniversary, and we were going to go out and get my gift. He got me a new Apple Watch and let me pick it out. He made an appointment at the Apple store, and we went in and actually looked at all of them, and this was the one I had originally picked out a while ago. But I was still wearing a Series 1 Apple Watch, and I now have a Series 6. So it was a really awesome gift, and I have been wearing it every day. I have a couple different bands, so when I'm at the gym and stuff, I switch them out. But that was what the gift was. I'm trying to think of what other questions were. What kind of needle is my favorite, or what needle do I recommend, or what needle do I use the most? And I'm assuming that all came because I asked you to comment with needle. And I'm going to be honest, I use a number 24 needle almost exclusively when working on cross stitch. I like a big toad stabber needle. I like a nubby needle. I like to feel it in my fingers. That's what works for me. I'm not picky on the brand. I will use Peacemakers, John James, DMC, whatever package of needles I have handy. What if I'm out and about and I buy some, or if I'm ordering online, I almost always just add an extra pack of 24 needle, number 24 needles. So really the sizes for me, that's what's important. I do stitch a lot on 40 count and higher counts of fabric, and I still use a number 24 needle. I know that's against the cross stitch police. Once in a while I'll use a 26, but I just find 24 is easier to thread, easier to hold. It's never made my pieces look distorted or bad when I'm stitching on high counts. In fact, I think it just opens it up a little bit more for the thread to flow through, and then it kind of closes back in on it. But that would be my answer to the needle question. A big toad stabber needle, favorite kind of needle. The toad stabber needle comes from a class I took many years ago, and one of my companions in the class, that's what she called a big thick needle. So I stole that from her. I've used it ever since. That is, it was a class, it was a Royal School of Needlework class that was taught in the United States in Perry, Iowa, at this quaint hotel. And the classes, this was many years ago, and those classes changed my life for so many reasons with my design and how I look at things. But that is where the birth of the toad stabber needle came from. That answers that question. I don't think there was anything else that was asked a lot. Those were the two main questions. Should have covered that at the very beginning of my video, but I'm kind of out of sorts. I think I'm already in vacation mode. So that's all for today. I thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you for visiting with me. I am beyond grateful for your love, your support, how the messages you guys send me, the encouragement I get for my patterns and designs. Thank you for hanging in with me when I'm talking about quilting if you're a cross stitch person, and thank you for hanging in there with cross stitch when you're a quilting person. I know not everyone does both. I find joy in both, so I talk about both. I'm very, very thankful for the support I have from everyone, and it is not lost on me. Thank you for liking and subscribing and commenting. You guys are wonderful. So until next time, bye friends.